I was on mute, my bad. How y'all doing? How y'all doing this early morning? Like I said, I've been up since 3:30 this morning. I have a cold, but I want to keep my routine up. But anywho, oops, I keep closing out. I don't know why I keep doing that. Anywho, so I want to bring out a little bit of some mess, okay? So I have a few things I want to touch on. Be quiet, girl. Hold on one second. I don't want to cough in your ear. Anywho, I'm glad I got sick now instead of on my break. But the only thing is I'm not gonna be able to work out. I can't do the workout and have a stopped up nose. It's already hard for me to breathe. But anyways, so I wanted to bring out a couple of things that I encountered during my day-to-day, you know, life or whatnot. Anyway, so I hold on one second. This thing is tripping. There we go. Okay. So I basically is we live, ho? Is we live? Okay. The internet get on my damn nerves. I tell you. Technology ain't nothing. Let's start with that, okay? I don't understand why we even have technology if we can't rely on it. I need the aliens or whoever is in outer space with better technology than we have to come down here and fix it. Okay? Don't probe me or anything like that, but come down here and fix this damn service, okay? I need high volume service. Can someone tell me how we get that? I get that I have to pay more for better internet, but I ain't about to do all that. You know I ain't about to do all that. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not doing that. But anyways, so let me go through my stories, okay? Let me go through my stories. So, when my car is down, right? It's been down for like a year and a half or something like that, right? My car has been, it was my first car. It has been through everything with me, with my first child. I went to college and graduated. No, I didn't graduate high school in the car, but um, it has, gotten me through a lot. Losing weight. My car has gotten me through a lot. So right now I'm on the bus, right? And so I'm on my way traveling to my destination, and it was the courthouse, right? And all of a sudden I hear, "Don't tell me to sit down. Don't tell me to sit the F down," or whatever. And I'm just like, it's between a black guy. He looks like he's middle age, if not, in his late 20s. So about 29 to 35, I'll say, right? And it's with a Eastern person. I don't know if it's, you know, I don't want to be racist or anything or what do you call it? Stereotypical, right? But it is Pakistan, Afghanistan, one of them, right? I'm not even laughing because of that. I just don't know. I'm not sure, but he was of the darker hue. Um and he was like getting in the black dude's face. He was like, "Sit down." He kept antagonizing the black dude, telling him like, sit down, or whatever. And the black dude was like, what the fuck you want to do? Mind you, the bus is crowded. Okay. Thankfully, I was seated with a front row seat to the action, but I was sat down 2 rows behind them. So if y'all ever been on a bus, which I'm sure some of you guys have, you have the front, you have the middle where the exit is as well, and then you have a couple of steps, and then there's some seats back there. So a couple of steps, and then 2 rows back, I was seated there. And they were at the back door area arguing. And so, like I said, the Eastern guy basically kept telling him to sit down. And the black guy got upset and told him, hold on one second, I need to do something. My bad. Sorry, guys, before they come pick it up. Sorry. I just want to make sure I get it. Well, I really want to go take a picture. So hopefully they come late. But I don't think they're going to come late. Shoot. It's really going to suck if they come pick it up right now, but they come early. Anyway, sorry. So I guess the Eastern dude was like, you're not intimidating me type of energy, right? And he just kept repeating it, like, sit down, sit down. And the black dude basically was like, what you want to do? And the black dude, the Eastern was like, kept repeating himself, but the black dude was like, moving on by, like, what I mean by that is he escalated, is what I'm trying to say, by snatching off the Eastern dude's glasses. And then that's when the Eastern dude basically shoved him, like pushed him into the seat or whatever. Again, mind you, the bus is crowded. And so people, like, there was a Hispanic lady standing right around them. Um, was other people that was standing around them that probably not even, around their age. They were probably older or something like that. I was too focused on them to see if weapons was gonna come out, because I wasn't about to sit up there and put myself in danger or whatnot. So what happened was, the they started, scuffling. I wouldn't say necessarily fighting, but just holding on to each other and putting their body weight on each other, trying to see, this like a tug of war type of thing. And then they separated and we were at a stop. And the lady that was around them, she got off the bus. She was like, I'll take the next one. But and then and oh, let me tell you, the bus driver was an old white man, like really, really old and fragile. He was driving the bus slow as it is, and he stopped the bus at the bus stop for about, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, in 3 to 5 minutes in a hostile situation like that is a long time. So they're still on the bus, but the black dude's like, get off the bus, step off the bus or whatever. And so the Eastern dude was like, nah, he wasn't trying to get off the bus. Um, and then the black dude basically tackled him off the bus. And then what happened? And he was like, the black dude was getting into the Eastern dude's face, and the Eastern dude got back on the bus and flicked him off on the bus, right? And then the bus driver closed the door on his hand and then opened the goddamn bus door again. And I was pissed off at that point. I said, you had the right mindset to close the door and drive off, but then you opened it again. And then black dude yanked the Parisian, I mean, not Parisian, sorry, Eastern dude off the bus. He yanked him off the bus, and And I think like the black dude punched him, and then they started fighting low key, and the Eastern dude basically grabbed him by the neck and almost ran into the bus stop post, like that they have like this box on the pole, like a sharp, corner. I was worried. I was like, look, I'm not trying to see no blood. I'm not trying to see nobody injured or laid out. And the other thing was there, I guess the black dude was with some woman. I don't know. She was like Filipino or something. She was something. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, I want to make sure he didn't pick it up. But so she grabs a suitcase, and mind you, they both look homeless. They both look homeless. My baby just woke up. And so the lady picks up her suitcase and tries to I'm thinking she trying to hit the black dude, but no, she was trying to hit the Eastern person. And she was like, not my man. Okay. Not my man. Okay, Jesus. I'm forgetting I had these little things. She threw that damn suitcase so fast. And I was like, oh Lord Jesus, they gonna jump him. And I'm like, dang, I hope I don't see him laid out on the ground. But that Parisian dude was not playing. He was like, shoot, I'm not gonna sit up here and let you punk me. And that Eastern dude was like, I'm out here fighting for my life, Jesus. Okay. So that was one situation. And mind you, I was low key like going to jump in and say, "Hey, stop, knock it off." For one, I had secondhand embarrassment of the black dude, and mind you, I don't know the context. I was too busy in my head on my headphones and stuff, listening to music, or I was listening to like a YouTube video or something, and I was like hesitant, like how you do double dutch, like back and forth before you jump in? I was kind of doing that in my head, like I want to say something, but then I don't want to say nothing because then I'm going to insert myself in something that I'm not trying to be inserted in. Oops, my bad. So, um, I thought I turned it off. But anyway, so I was like, let me not jump into something that I don't want to be inserted in and then possibly get attacked myself or whatever. And that ain't none of my business. That's when I realized I don't have to be a superhero. It is not my job or my place to try to be superwoman. Okay. Now, if it was a man and a woman per se, I would probably jump in then because like of course a man has more how you say it, advantage over a woman, right? And the woman has a disadvantage over the man. And I was upset too that the woman was getting knocked around in their scuffle. So, but I was just like, if it was me, nobody would say anything. And I don't want to have that mindset. But I was like, she did the right thing by getting off the bus. But then, like I said, the fight moved outside and she was getting involved. Like she was subjected to still watch this encounter outside the bus. So kind of disappointed and embarrassed by the black man because of, first of all, how we carry ourselves, and I put myself in there because we are one. What you represent also reflects onto me. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, can we deal with situations better than this? Like, can we articulate ourselves? But it went from 0 to 1,000 so fast over the fact that the man told him to sit down. And it's like, sometimes I just let people be a fool by themselves. I don't need to be a fool with you. Is how I try to think, because people intentionally try to get a reaction out of you, right? And I'm just not here for a reaction. All right, I just had to check in real quick with the young man. So I had another situation coming from the courthouse, right? And mind you, these are separate situations, not the same day. So I'm coming from the courthouse, and what happened? And so I'm walking on my way home, and all of a sudden, as I'm walking, I see a black dude running in the middle of the street, in the middle of traffic, with something in his hand that looked like a gun. And I stopped for a moment because I'm like, is he about to how you say, is he about to how you say it? Ring off shots, or you know, let off shots. I forgot how you say it. Like a large amount of bullets. I forgot how you say it. I can't think right now. I'm sick. But then I look closer because I was observing. I'm like, I would, because I'm not just going to react and run backwards. Because what I would have done if it was a real gun, right? I would have ran back from where I came from or turned the corner somewhere to avoid being shot, right? But it turned out to be a paintball gun. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm not really tripping off no paintball gun or whatever, as long as they don't shoot me with it, right? And they just having a good time. He runs across the street um to a gas station where another group of people is in a car and starts shooting at the car. And I guess the people, but he was mainly shooting at the car. I was confused as to if they were involved in the encounter or what, right? So then the dude runs back to the car he came from, which is right across the street. He gets in, and I'm like I said, I continue on walking. I'm waiting for the light to change, and they're also holding up traffic too because the other car that was at the gas station drives across the street. I don't know how he got across that street. I don't even know how he was able to cross the street, cross traffic, and basically get in front of the other car blocking it off, and they're firing shots at each other back and forth, right? And I'm just like annoyed. You can see it on my face. Once again, black like me, secondhand embarrassment. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, they're just kids being kids, right? Like, and if I was a white person, that's what they would be saying, boys just being boys. And that's basically what I said. I said, just as long as I don't get shot by no goddamn paintball gun, because in my mind went right back to I'm always an example. I got shot with a BB gun before when I was a teenager, and I just feel it coming that I'm about to get shot with this damn paintball gun. But like I said, in my mind, I'm like, I mean, in my on my face, you can tell that I'm irritated. So they end up shooting me with the goddamn paintball. Not in my face, but it was on my headphones, and it splattered on my face or whatever. And I'm thinking, it's on the side of my face. So I'm wiping and I'm wiping, and I don't see anything else. But then I'm just like, where is this paint coming from? And no, and mind you, this Hispanic lady was like, I was scared. I was scared. And I'm just like, I'm not scared because it's a damn paintball. But at the same time, I'm not involved in the damn game. Why are you involving me? And so I end up taking off my headphones and seeing that the most of the paint is on my headphones. And so then that's when I get pissed off. And I'm like, because you don't play with my music, okay? Like, that's one thing. Like, I will sit in my car for about an extra 30 minutes when I get home just to listen to music. Like, that's my sanctuary. So now I'm going through my mind thinking, okay, yeah, they boys being boys, but at the same time, they need to be in a safe environment, in a safe space for them to be playing this game with each other and stop involving innocent bystanders. civilians, because nobody is, uh volunteering to play this game, and people could, feel trauma. You don't know what people gone through as far as when it comes to weapons and guns and their family or anything like that. And so a traumatic event in their life. So it's not acceptable for you to be putting them into that uh traumatic situation. I'll sum it up like that. And also my life flashed before my eyes too, because I'm like, what if that was a real gun? Like, I could be injured, I could have died or anything like that, and your aim is fucking off. You're right in front of the car. How come I got shot? That's like 50 feet away from the car. Like, it doesn't even make sense. So, um, and it was like, I don't want to create a bigger issue. I mind you too, this was during the end of school hours, right? Kids was getting out of school, getting picked up, so it's traffic and everything, and things are slowing down, but they are driving reckless and they are playing in vehicles. Like, just imagine, right? Kids can get hit, anything. The police show up like freaking 10 minutes later. 5, I'm probably exaggerating, but they show up too late. It was too late. It was no point in them even coming. I was like, them niggas is gone. So, and I couldn't get the license plate because I realized when you're in a situation like that, you're so shocked that you don't even think about nothing else but what just happened. You can't really process it. So I feel like it's no point in me even trying to make a fuss about it because they don't care. They like, just a bunch of niggas being niggas, okay? I don't even think they found them. But anyways, so the next thing I want to discuss is the importance of knowing your rights, okay? In America. All right? The importance of knowing your rights in America. I'm very big on that because it is not my job to police people. It is not my job to sit up there and I'm way too grown. I'm not even going to say old to be sitting up here scuffling, fighting, rolling on the ground with somebody over some stuff that they said or done to me, right? Especially if there's some type of legal enforcement that I can use against them, right? So, I want to give you guys an example. And I've discussed this before probably on one of my other videos, that I have this new neighbor, right? I've been here at this property for almost 10 years. And for like 4 months, I can say I was here on the property by myself. And so everybody else was evicted because they raised the COVID, I forgot what you call it, the COVID, I forgot what you call that thing, but anyways, so I was end up being the only one here because I was current on my rent and stuff like that. And so what happened was this new tenant came in January, and she was basically impeding on my quiet enjoyment. And you tell me if I'm right or wrong, right? Uh, praise me when I'm right, and then call me out when I'm wrong. I'm all acceptable to criticism, right? So basically, she was She basically moved in at 9 o'clock at night. She moved in for a couple of days, one at 9 o'clock, and then the other one at 1 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, I have school. I go introduce myself, tell her, hey, my room is right next door to your house. Can you please try to keep it down at night or whatever, trying to communicate, my schedule. If you need anything from me, let me know. I'm T.U.O. What's your name? Blah, 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 right? So she comes off as cordial. And she's like, oh, I know I'm wrong. She basically says, I know I'm wrong for moving in at this time. I'm so sorry or whatever. She's all apologetic. I'm like, it's cool, I understand we moving in or whatever, you know, but I just want to let you know I have things to do in the morning and whatever. That's not the point. She continues to, I guess, stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. It's been till currently, right? She'll stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, dropping large objects. So, but let me just say this: the first month, right? I tell her I go outside because because I confronted her and I wasn't going to allow it to continue. I'm the type of person who grew up on when something happens, you nip it in the bud as soon as possible. So she ended up inviting her friends over, thinking that I still wouldn't say anything. And her friends get into an argument on the property, insinuating that they, took someone's life and all this stuff. So one night at 2 o'clock in the morning, I go and I sit outside and she's like trying to have a conversation with me. And I try to explain to her, hey, I'm trying to get some sleep, but your child is running. You guys are out here having loud conversations, whatever. And so I'm contacting the law enforcement. They're telling me to contact my landlord. I contact my landlord. He's not really doing anything. He's playing these games, right? Mind you, my landlord wants me to move out, which I don't understand, but that's another story, right? So the way he's trying to get me to move out is he's allowing for the disturbance to continue. Again, this has been since January. And so, knowing that I have a lease agreement with him, I start continuously repeating, hey, you're impeding on my quiet enjoyment. You're not enforcing the lease agreement. This is considered harassment, or whatever. And I just allow him to allow it to build up. Also, he is refusing to do work on my unit or whatever. And so I just allow him to let it add up, knowing my rights that, hey, the landlord has a duty and a tenant has a duty, right? And so when I think I moved out my room because I was I had sleep deprivation. And then the person found out that I moved out my room and they began making noises where I can hear them from outside. And they were having like this loud conversation about me. I didn't care. So I end up, just recording it for evidence for myself. That's the biggest thing, is that you have to make sure that you have evidence. So I end up, recording it. And all of a sudden I see this person throw my personal belongings across the yard. And I'm like, oh no, see, now you didn't woke me up. You continue to wake me up. And now you're going to touch my shit without even asking me. Now we have a problem. So I go outside. And oh, I forgot to mention, like, from January, I forgot to mention. And so in January, when I went outside and had a conversation with her, I told her, you know, that I hope I don't have to call law enforcement on you. So when I first called law enforcement on her, she started saying like, she started and hollering, banging on the wall, being belligerent, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like she act like she about to do something. So I go outside and she's like, "You called the police on me? You called the police on me?" I said, "Yeah, you're disturbing me. You're infringing upon my peace and quiet." And she's like saying nigga and stuff. And I said, "You don't get to fucking say nigga." And her friends is like, "That's the white person's word. That's not your word or whatever." So she was using it in a derogatory term. And so I was getting pissed off about that. And then she kept saying, "I'm that bitch," or whatever. And in my mind, again, knowing your rights, right? Old T.U.O, old T.U.O would have mollywopped her ass up and down the street. Okay. But I knew I had a tactic, right? So I allowed her to keep speaking and she kept getting in my face or whatever. And so going back to February when she threw my stuff across the yard, I go outside again and I said, "Hey, you know, you don't need to be touching my stuff without asking me. If you got a problem, you can ask me or you can contact the landlord." And she got in my face again. And then she pushed me, right? I'm like, let me refrain, let me hold it together. Let me not mollywop her. Because knowing my rights, when the landlord refuses to enforce the lease agreement, he's allowed it to build up to a crime, basically. And so, knowing that, I tell him what happens. He's like, "Oh, well, I can't review the video," right? It's almost been a month. He's just been like, "I can't review the video, but do you want to have a sit down?" I said, "Hell no. I asked you way back in January to have a sit down. Why would I sit down with somebody again, playing my position as, a battered tenant. So I'm not going to, because then a person can say, well, she wasn't scared enough that she was willing to sit down. You have to think about things. And I feel like I've already had several with this woman, uh cordial as possible, and she still ignored them. Hold on one second. So she still ignored them. The landlord claimed he talked to her. He still ignored that. And so it was like no point in having a sit down. And it was kind of too late for me because she put her hands on me and I wasn't okay with that. Um so basically I ignored his request to have a sit down after she put her hands on me, because he knew he had a duty. And like I said, when you know those things, you tend to not overreact. You just check off things. Oh, and matter of fact, like there's ways to, how can you say, like, build a case against your landlord. You can contact the city that you're in to see if to file a complaint, have people come out and look at your place to see if the landlord is neglecting the property. And so those are the steps that I took prior to that incident happening, anything like that, right? And so, like I said, the landlord is using this tenant to force me off the property, by allowing her to infringe upon my peace and quiet. And so, knowing that, doing research, which I strongly encourage people to do, is do their research for their county, their city, to see if their rights are being violated so that you could take legal course. Because, I mean, what is the whole point of having a legal system, even though it's corrupt, but what's the point of having a legal system if you can't utilize it? I'm not about to sit up here and be fighting everything, physically fighting every situation. Like that shit is exhausting. I did that for the first 20 something odd years of my life and realized it wasn't getting me nowhere but abused. Okay. So I suggest people take legal actions and let the police do their job to enforce the law. I understand that the police is not here for us, but I suggest that, we allow for them to do our dirty work. That's what I'm saying. And then build up a case against the mother sucker who violated you, right? So, like I told you, I did add in there that my landlord is miserable. He is upset that I am, how do you say it? Like I'm a good tenant. I don't bother people. I mind my business. I pay my rent on time. And so he doesn't really have anything against me. And so he's trying to create stuff against me. And again, allowing for me to be unhappy in my residence so that I can move out. And I just find it laughable. He Yeah, he's doing a lot, but he's talking crap. Like he's basically trying to buy me, not buy me out. Well, he has offered me a few times to buy me out, but I'm like, nah. Uh, I was willing to actually, and then I found out. Like I said, I contacted the city, and they told me like, nah. This is the right amount that should be given, or whatever, whatever. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'll uh I'll talk to him about it. And so he tried to play some games. Him and his lawyer tried to play some games and end up having pie on their face. But I'm like, if I'm wrong, if I did something wrong, then why would you be quote unquote trying to settle with me and instead of buying out, right? Because buying out and settling is two different things. And so just guess where that's leading to, right? And so um I also filed a claim against him because of everything that I just previously said, and plus more, um, before him and before his offer to settle and all this stuff. And so I basically beat him to the punch. That's the importance, is being ahead of your stuff. When something is being done to you, you don't want to wait until this person acts first. Like, of course, there has to be some type of damages against you. So in that case, we want to wait for damages. But as far as taking actions against those damages, you definitely want to be the first person to take action. And so in this situation, I was first. And so my miserable landlord is upset about that because I'm not just some dumb, black, stupid woman. Like, I don't know what his issue is, but I'm like, bro, I'm actually educated. I'd like to do research. That's my strong suit. And so I'm not just going to listen to you blindly and just say, okay, I'll take it. Like, I'll let you in. I'll say it like this. My landlord tried to offer me $5, and I'm not giving you the accurate number, but he tried to offer me $5 when I said, nah, I want $10, right? And then I found out by the city that I was inclined to, I don't know, two times that, right? And so when I brought it back to him, matter of fact, I had brought it to him before the city even told me what I was inclined to, and he was like, you're being ridiculous. He tried to say, he said, come back to me with a realistic number. I was like, I'm not coming back with no realistic number, knowing that I wasn't going to go below $15, right? And so when he came back, I was like, all right, I'm willing to buy you out for $15. And it came back as a settlement. I was like, I'm not settling. He was like, we want you to dismiss your case. I said, I'm not willing to dismiss my case because I have a strong case where you violated my tenant's rights. And so I'm not doing anything. You messed up by removing a lot of things. not doing things, not taking actions as a landlord. It's not my responsibility to inform you what your job is as a landlord. It's my job to check off the things that you did to me. So he's upset about that. Now, I do want to say this last thing because I want to go get me some medicine for my cold. But what happened was I'm in court, right? Not in court. Well, no, I'm not in court for a hearing or anything like that. I go to court to go drop off some documents. And as I'm trying to drop off the documents, right? They first of all, when you are going to file something against somebody, you just need one copy, right? You don't need. So, okay, I bring a copy of the documents that I'm going to serve on the people I need served, right? And all of a sudden, the clerk tells me you need 2 copies for each person. I said, I'm not doing that. They're not going to give me that. Where do you expect for me to get another copy? And remind you, these copies are thick, right? So I tell her I'm not, and she was like, okay, we just need a copy. We just need a copy for ourselves in the system. This is the sheriff department. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. It's at the end of the day. This is after the fight too. I was on the bus. And so this is the end of the day. And I'm just like, they not gonna give me no copy today. I'm gonna have to wait, and I need this done today. And so what happened is they gave me a hard time. I ended up giving them my copy, and then they were like trying not to accept it. I said, why are you not accepting it? Everything is in order. And they was like, well, we don't know, or whatever. They just tried to come up with some fugazi explanation as to why they weren't going to accept my documents. And I said, you're going to have to give me an explanation. And mind you, I'm talking to the clerk and her supervisor at the same time. And the supervisor saying it's not completed. I said, what is not completed? You have to tell me, like, as if I'm a 5-year-old, what is not completed right now. And if you can't articulate to me what's not completed, you're going to take these documents. And I was refusing to leave. And so I ended up getting my documents processed, and they were like being, to me, even though they were still helping me out, they were trying to nitpick every little thing, right? So the next week I go back to do the same thing for some, a different location, and I'm dealing with the same lady, the same clerk, and she's being very short. She's like, "Oh, you can't have this served if it's incomplete." I said, "What does that mean, incomplete? What do you mean by incomplete? There's nothing incomplete. I want this served at the same location. This is a different document. I forgot to attach to the other ones that I had filed previously." And she's like, no, I would have to give her the same documents that I had processed before with the document. I said, no, ma'am, that is not true. Just take this. And she was like very adamant, like, we're not doing that. And so she had me call where I had the documents processed to see if they would accept it. And then when I what happened? And then when I called them, she was like, did you get the person's name? I was like, I don't recall their names, but they said it was okay. And she was like, well, we still can't take it if you don't remember the person's name. Like, she was being very anal, excuse me. She was being anus too. But she was being very anal about the situation and very short. Like, she was being rude. I heard how she was talking to somebody else. Like, her tone was, and again, I understand there's a difference between being assertive and being snobby, right? Like, she was coming out very snobby to me. So when she got to me, I said, oh, let's adjust your tone, okay? Let's adjust it, because I've already heard how you spoke to somebody else, and we're not going to do that today with me. Okay, I'm being very cordial with you. I haven't said anything disrespectful to you. I'm actually appreciative of how you assisted me previously. So let's not go there. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm just trying to get some help, right? So she continues with her, like, oh no, I'm not taking it, we're not taking it, or whatever. And so when I come back, I'm dealing with a sheriff officer, and he's not really sure. He's like, I don't know, whatever, whatever. And he asked me, who did you speak to? Because I'm like, they called up here and said that they're willing to accept it, and they was like, we don't see it in the system that they said they'll accept it or whatever. And do you know who you talked to or whatever? I said, I don't recall, but they definitely said they'll accept it. And the lady, again, I'm not dealing with her, but she's talking to him and saying, just tell her no. I said, in my mind, I was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. And he said, if you get the person's name and come back, mind you, I have to leave the courthouse. I have to leave outside to call because the service in there is terrible. So I turned back around and said, can I get a complaint form? Because at this point, I'm just annoyed and exhausted because I had court that day. I'm like, I don't want to keep going back and forth, and your attitude stinks. If you're miserable at your job, please don't work here because you deal with customer service. You encounter people, and the way you interact with people, you don't know what they're going through in their personal life. And I don't know what you're going through in your personal life. But the difference between me and you is that you're supposed to provide customer service. You're supposed to provide some type of decorum, some type of restraint on your side. I, on the other hand, don't have to do anything because I don't work here. Even though I need you to process these documents, I still don't have to take your bullshit. Right. And so he was like, oh, where's the forms? He asked her as if she gonna tell me where the forms are to file a complaint. She's like, I don't know, or whatever. I said, she know that she ain't gonna accept these documents, but she don't know where the damn complaints are, right? So then I said, okay, let me speak to her supervisor. I tell the supervisor what happened. The supervisor takes my document. She takes them and just says, are you sure they said that? I said, yes, I'm sure. She said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, but I'm gonna call up there too. I said, that's fine. And so when I when she took it, I said, you need to check her. Basically, I said, you need to talk to her because her customer service sucks. She's very hostile for no reason. I don't know what's wrong with her, but she needs to watch how she speaks to people. Cause she don't know when she gonna find the right one. Maybe she don't, she need to work in the back or something. She don't need, because I would prefer to work in the front than in the back. Let me tell you, any day. Hold on. So, um, I'm like, I would prefer to work in the front any day. Don't nobody want to sit up there in the back in the cubicle away from people. Like, and I get it's tiresome, but it's like whatever, girl. Like if you, like I said, if you're not happy, by all means, make us all happy by removing yourself out of this environment because nobody wants to deal with your stank attitude and your hostile tone and stuff when they just asking you simple questions. Matter of fact, I had asked her a question. I said, hey, do you need 2 copies still? Because I'm filing them again. So is you still certain that you need 2 copies? She's like, no, we'll take just the 4. I said, do you guys need a copy for yourself? She was like, I never said that. She said, no, we just need the 4. So when I came back to the window, I said, here is the 4 that you said. She said, I never said that. I didn't even see the documents that you gave me. I said, that's fine. You didn't see them, but you definitely said that you'll just take the 4. So now I'm giving you the 4 and you talking about some, well, I need a copy too. Now I have to, not only is she saying I have to give her the same package again with the civil thing, but then she was like, what she said was, we're not going to reserve or duplicate. And I was saying that like it doesn't make no sense to duplicate the same thing. That's going to probably confuse the officers, which they have a low, a low number. What is it like? Low score test? They're not that smart. They're not that smart. So we want to make this as easy as possible for them. So, So basically, she just was like, I never said that. Like, girl, you definitely said it to me, okay? Why are you trying to act like you don't have any fault in this? So I was kind of annoyed with her and just glad that I got my stuff taken care of. But that's the mess that I wanted to bring to y'all. I don't think it was anything else. I don't think it was really anything else. But let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. If you feel like I'm right, give me my praise, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll bring some more mess to y'all later, okay? Talk to y'all later. Bye. I'm about to go get me some medicine. Shoot, I'm sick.